Today, I'm tackling another one of Natsume Yuujinchou's mysteries. Who or where is Tanuma's mother? Not only is she clearly absent, but she's literally never been brought up before. Not by Tanuma or his dad, not by Natsume or any other character for that matter. The words Tanuma's mum have never been uttered in the series even once. So is talking about her so taboo you'll die instantly, or is there a simple answer we're all missing? Let's find out. I want to clear up a small misunderstanding first. The most popular theory seems to be that Tanuma was adopted as a kid. That would make sense as to why his mother is never mentioned, and also why he and his dad don't look too similar. This theory is usually centered around the fact that Tanuma's dad is a practicing Buddhist monk. Generally, Buddhism does require monks to take an oath of celibacy, except for those in Japan. In the 13th century, one sect of the religion, Jodo Shinsu, began to change their ideals, allowing for monks to be married. This grew in popularity in Japan, and eventually in the late 1800s, the Japanese government officially allowed Buddhist monks to be married and have children. So it is in no way strange for Tanuma to be his father's biological kid. I don't even see why people question this to begin with. They look so similar. Squint a little more, just a bit more. There we go. Identical. In all seriousness, he does at least look like his aunt, and for those reasons, I'm throwing out that theory. Instead, you can be subjected to the theories I managed to come up with. Theory 1, she's dead. I'm sure we were all expecting that one. This is a case of the simplest explanation is the most likely. His mum is absent, has not been mentioned once, and they aren't concerned about her existence at all. She is probably long dead. We know from chapter 66, Tanuma lived at his aunt's inn for a bit when he was a kid. He mentions his dad, but no mum. Instead saying his aunt and an old, not actually a lady took care of him while he was sick instead. I think the reason he and his father moved in with his aunt is likely because his mum died soon before. It seems kind of strange to just randomly take your kid and move in with your sister, but it makes a lot more sense if we put it into this context. Your wife has just died and now you have to juggle grieving, working, and your young child with health issues. Clearly, the number one thing you need is help, and so you take up your sister's offer to live with her for a bit so you can work on sorting out your life. As I just mentioned, Tanuma has health issues which he seems to have been born with as he started having problems when he was very, very young. His mother could have very well had similar issues which contributed to her early death. Despite this being the simplest explanation, I honestly feel like it can't be the correct one, because why would they never mention it? It's something that Tanuma and Natsume have in common. All this time, Natsume has talked about or alluded to his dead parents, but not even once has Tanuma decided to say, yeah, my mum is dead too, I get how you feel. Shared trauma is the best way to bond with your friends. To be fair, their relationship is very polite when it comes to stuff like that, so I guess I can see why that might have never come up, but the series as a whole never mentions it either. Not in a conversation between Tanuma and his dad, a comment from his aunt, or even during narration. If the answer was that simple this whole time, I can't understand why it has never been brought up before. We know about every other kid's family situation in detail, but not Tanuma's. There has to be something more to it. Theory 2, they're divorced. Well, that's under the assumption that they were ever married, so it's more accurate to say maybe she's absent by choice. I feel like this fits a lot more with the fact that they don't seem to care about her existence at all. When a loved one dies, you still talk about them, even many years later. You might also keep a memento to remember them by. Tanuma's dad doesn't wear or keep a wedding ring, although they may have never been married. But there also doesn't seem to be like a photo of her at all in their house. Natsume was thrown from household to household for years and still has a photo of his parents. Tanuma still has his dad, and you're telling me this guy did not take or keep one single photo of his partner? No shot. But if she just decided to abandon her family, then they wouldn't have any of that because they probably hate her. I also feel like this explains why Tanuma has never talked to Natsume about it. Personally, I think your mother abandoning you is valid trauma, but like I said, Natsume and Tanuma's relationship is very polite. I could see Tanuma thinking complaining about his mum leaving would be insensitive when both of Natsume's parents are dead. So he just never brings it up to spare Natsume's feelings, and Natsume has never asked because he knows what it's like to lose parents and assumes he probably doesn't want to talk about it. It makes sense, and yet I still don't feel like it's quite right. Because again, I just can't see why this has never been brought up before. Not even in a passing comment or by the author at all. It makes me feel like the actual answer hasn't been revealed yet because it's important to the plot. Which brings me to the one you've all been waiting for, the unhinged theory. Hear me out. Theory 3, his mum is a member of the Matoba clan. They all have black hair, he has black hair, God, I am so good at this. But seriously, I'm not trying to convince you Tanuma is actually Seiji's long-lost brother or something. The Matoba clan is a massive group, encompassing 11 different families. There is plenty of room for this to fit. To begin, I think his maternal side of the family may have been exorcist due to the fact Tanuma has spiritual power, given it is only enough to vaguely see things. We know spiritual power is genetic from the Natsumes and every other exorcist family in the series. It can also weaken over time or skip generations entirely. But wouldn't this power just come from his dad? Well, no. See, while Tanuma's dad does have some spiritual power, enough to perform cleansing rituals and whatnot, he can't actually see Ayakashi. We are told he gained his power through training when he became a Buddhist monk. If he didn't go through that training, he would just be a regular old dude. I know I just said that spiritual power can skip generations, but I don't think his father's side of the family would have ever been exorcists. For one, neither he nor Tanuma's aunt bring up anything about their family historically seeing the supernatural, even when faced with Natsume's weirdness. Most of Tanuma's health issues come from being affected by Ayakashi. If you come from a family that deal with the supernatural, you probably have a better way to help him than just telling Ayakashi to piss off every now and then. Also, becoming a Buddhist monk when you come from a family of exorcists seems a bit odd. Surely that would bring up some kind of religious conflict or something. Therefore, Tanuma most likely got his power from his mother's side. I'll be honest, the main reason for it being the Matoba clan specifically is plot convenience. We have been waiting for this reveal for so long. Introducing another random family of exorcists is not going to have the same impact as connecting it back to characters we already know. The Matoba clan is known to have questionable practices at best. Despite the size of the clan, those with spiritual power are few and far between. Anyone who does have spiritual power becomes an exorcist and is often required to take dangerous jobs because of all the greedy and downright stupid deals the clan made with Ayakashi in the past. This is a horrible environment to raise a kid that has a severe sensitivity to Ayakashi. If just the presence of the supernatural can make this child sick, God knows what will happen to him if he actually tries to use his power for exorcisms or something. For all we know, it could kill him. For the sake of your kid, you have to get them out of the clan, which would be no easy feat. Between the actual members of the clan and contracted Shiki, I'm pretty certain they'd be able to track you down. I'd say your best bet is to give your kid to your partner and tell them to run very far away. This could be the reason Tanuma moved around a lot growing up. Despite being a Buddhist monk, Tanuma's dad seems to be friends with quite a few exorcists. These connections could well have been formed through his partner. They would also be very helpful when it comes to trying to hide a kid from the Matoba clan. This also explains why no one really cares about Tanuma's mum at all. I doubt Tanuma was ever told what actually happened by his dad. At best, he was probably left with some vague, "you don't have a mum and don't worry about it" kind of thing. His dad, on the other hand, isn't stressed about her existence because he knows the full story. It also explains why his dad wouldn't have any pictures or mementos of her. I mean, if the wrong person were to see those, that would give it all away pretty quickly. This begs one final question. Is she still alive? Yes, she is. Did you know it's been nearly 20 years since the manga started? And in that time, questions from the first volume have still not been answered. This mystery must have the biggest payoff to make my suffering worth it. If we find out his mum has been dead this whole time and we haven't been told just because, I will lose my mind. So yes, she is still alive and probably a member of the Matoba clan, and I will continue to believe that until I am proven wrong, which at this rate could be another 20 years. Thank you for your time.